he predates me. So you'd have to ask him about how he cast me. And I'd like to know the answer.
Hi, my name's Amber and I'm here with Cineworld Cinemas, and we are so excited to be bringing The Amateur to big screens across the United Kingdom. This film is such a gripping espionage action thriller, and I was just wondering, what was your inspiration and influence when directing The Amateur?
There were several, actually. I always loved some of those movies of the 70s and 80s, the political and paranoid thrillers of the time, whether it's Parallax View or All the President's Men, so not necessarily just espionage movies. I felt that there was a mood and a texture we could get from those, but also a lot of them have the classic genre beat of a hero thrown suddenly into a world that he thought was familiar that is instantly dangerous. You don't know where the danger is coming from. You're hunting around, constantly looking over your shoulder, and you play the role of the underdog. And I think that's what The Amateur does really powerfully.
Can you tell me a little bit about what first drew you to want to be involved in this production?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, I was sent the script and I read it and I was like, this is a very smart, like very unique take on this genre. Obviously, Ramy, I have known him sort of just socially for many years, and I really was excited about the prospect of working with him, as I've been a huge admirer of his work. The same with Lawrence and Rachel and Julianne and John, like everybody who was in it, and just James Hawes as well, who's an incredible director. But it just felt like a really epic, kind of intense and fun film. So I was like, yeah, sign me up.
I really like how authentically raw Ramy Malek's performance felt. And like you say, kind of the day-to-day person being thrown into these scenarios. And I remember this one scene in particular where Ramy's walking away for an explosion and he actually flinched, which you never really see in these Hollywood films. How did you work with Ramy on making sure that his performance was as authentic and as grounded as possible in the scenarios?
It was a constant debate, and sometimes it was about authenticity and rootedness, but also wanting to stay true to the premise, which is the amateur.
Yeah.
And you're completely right. And that was a big decision for that walking away. And it was one that was debated about even in the edit afterwards.
Really?
Was that performance right that he flinched? Was it too uncool? Because the Mission Impossible version would have a long shot and not so much as an eyebrow would twitch. Mm-hmm. This felt honest. And I think there's a charm to it because you understand that it's not his natural predisposition and he's not immune to the shock and to the emotion of what he's doing.
So Ramy Malek is a wonderful actor and, as you say, your main scene partner. What was kind of your key takeaway from working with Ramy?
I mean, the guy has an incredible work ethic. He's so brilliant. I mean, he's such a generous scene partner. But we were jumping in. We were doing a huge page count every day. And he's just inhabits these characters so brilliantly. It's when you walk onto a set, especially when it's already been up and running for I think they were shooting already for a month and a half, and you get in there and he just made me so comfortable. He made sure that, we talked a lot about our characters and where they were meeting at, and it was just brilliant. I mean, yeah, I can't ask for a better scene partner.
So I have to ask you about the casting. Ramy was wonderful, and it felt like a really nice natural progression from his character back in Mr. Robot. It's like he came full circle. Mm-hmm. And such a wonderful supporting cast with Lawrence, Rachel, Caitríona. How did you go about putting this fantastic cast together?
Well, Ramy's at the heart of that as well. So Ramy was there and one of the producers, so he predates me. So you'd have to ask him about how he cast me. And I'd like to know the answer. But then we wanted somebody that had both the avuncular nature and the warmth that Lawrence brings, as well as the threat and the danger, and his ability to shift the gears. When he walks into the room, you don't know whether he's going to hug you or kill you. Mm-hmm. That's invaluable. He has such a presence. You believe him as a spy with that kind of history. And then you want somebody with the surprising talents, but also the exoticism and intelligence of Caitríona. And she delivers that in spades. Your
character in The Amateur is quite different to some of the characters that you've portrayed previously. Was there anything different in your approach to the character and the preparation for this role?
I think you approach each character sort of, it's almost like they tell you what they need, or, you kind of try and figure out. I worked with a great dialect coach for the accent. I sort of wanted to find a good sort of model to sort of model her on, and I was very inspired by this activist, Nadia Tolokonnikova, who was sort of, a good piece of inspiration for Inquiline. And also she holds herself so differently to sort of other characters that I've had. She's somebody who wants to disappear. She's somebody who kind of moves in the shadows, where people don't really notice her. And that was a lot of the stuff I sort of was like about working on being very inward and not projecting sort of a lot of power and not attracting attention. It was a fun one. It was a really fun one to sort of delve into.
I would love to know, what would you like audiences to take away after seeing The Amateur on the big screen?
I want them to leave just thinking, I've just been told a really good story and I've been thoroughly entertained. It's not trying to give you some big message. It's rooted in the world. Sure, there are echoes to take away from it. It's got some weight to it. But overall, it's a piece of powerful storytelling. It's entertaining cinema. At
Cineworld, we are, of course, really big fans of cinema. I was wondering, what's your favourite thing about going to watch a movie on the big screen?
Oh, so much. I love going to the cinema. And not that long ago, we recently took our son for the first time. He's 3.
What did you go and see?
Well, the first movie he went to see was Paddington, which was a very good one. The whole experience is brilliant. That shared experience of watching a movie when everybody laughs together, everybody cries together. You feel it when the room is holding their breath. All the good snacks, obviously. But I just think the magic of movies is best experienced like in a group and like on a massive screen. So I love it. I try and go as often as I can.
I have to ask you, are you a popcorn lady? Do you go for nachos, hot dogs? What's your go-to?
Oh, no, very much popcorn. Not too much into the butter.
Sweet, salted? Would you ever put candy on top?
No, not sweet, salty popcorn, just the way it should be.
The best.
And then you also have to have a bag of sweets.
Of course.
So you can alternate.
It's the only way. I've heard people call it a movie salad where you sprinkle the candy on the popcorn.
No, that's just wrong. That's just wrong.
Keep them separate.
No.
I would love to know, what advice do you have for aspiring filmmakers and directors?
Start making something. There's no excuse. There's no easy way into it. Pick up your iPhone. You can make a movie on the iPhone. It's difficult. You're going to have to twist arms of people to help you. You're going to have to spend time at it. But the answer is, these days, you've got to try and just start building a story about something that makes you angry or sad or something you want to campaign for.
You've had such a fabulous career. Outlander, one of my all-time favourite TV shows, and in so many different genres as well. I was just wondering, what advice do you have for aspiring actors or filmmakers who are just starting out?
Read as much as you can, watch as much as you can, and travel as much as you can, because human stories are everywhere and we have to fill ourselves up with them to be able to then express them uniquely out through ourselves. So,
Caitríona, thank you so much for your time today.
Thank you.
It was so lovely
to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Film. What, in your opinion, was the most challenging either scene to film or the most challenging aspect of this production?
There were 1 or 2 set pieces that were challenging. I mean, I talk about really the denouement, the whole scene around the boats, because of the logistics of getting boats and helicopters in the right places at the right time, bringing leading actors at sea from a small rib onto the deck of a research vessel. So that was super challenging. But the other answer is some of the most performative scenes, some of the detail, the character, the acting, taking the time to spend, to get the details right and the nuance of the performances.
Thank you so much for your work on the film.
Very much.
It was phenomenal and it was so lovely talking to you. Congratulations
Very nice to meet
again.
you. Okay,
thank you very much.
We got a ping in Rome.
He's in London.
He just got on a bus in Prague.
He practically invented half of our surveillance.
Maybe y'all misjudge this individual.
This ends here.
You recognize her?
If you jump really fast, you might survive the blast.
Wait!